Over the past few years, we've been working hard on management, and the key with management and deer management, it doesn't happen overnight. It's a process of a couple of years, and it's usually about 3 to 5 years when you can really start seeing the benefits of that. And now we're kind of at a point, last couple of years, where we're seeing not only the benefit of managing out and culling some of the lesser bucks, but just as important, letting some of those better bucks live. And I just like you name people, that's why we kind of name deer, so we're not saying, hey, this is the tall 8 or the big 9, or well, there's 5 big 9s. Like when I bump into somebody, I don't say, hey, that's the tall guy with red hair. And so this buck kind of slipped in between not having a name because he was kind of a ghost, and I never got this buck named, so he kind of fell into the habit where I didn't like doing. He's the big symmetrical 10. And if you go back to the first season when we were on the ranch, I was sitting with Chase, and we rattled this buck in and let him walk. I mean, he was a 4-year-old then, and he was beautiful.
There he is. There he is. He's coming out. There he's right on the edge. Okay. How old is he? He's too young, isn't he? Yep. He's a 4-year-old. Look at that. Man, he might be 5, man. No, he's 4. He's 4. I'm so glad we got to see that. That was freaking, that was hard. We rattled up that 4-year-old, and I mean, that's the kind of deer that I would, really like to see mature and get to 6, 7. I mean, but there's some hard times like that. And I know some people say, oh, it's all about age, or you're worried too much about it. I mean, I really enjoyed that. I didn't have to kill that deer to get enjoyment out of it.
That summer, as he became a 5-year-old, I would get trail cam pictures of him, but it was always at night. And I would get pictures of him down on one side of the property, and then 2 hours later, he'd be at another protein feeder that same night. But I didn't get any daylight photos of him. And then once season came, I didn't get anything of him. And I kind of thought, hey, did he get into a fight? Did he, but we had 0 sightings. And so one night, Jamie's out hunting over in one of the oat fields, and I'm getting texts like, hey man, there's this huge buck, like, he's super excited about it, and basically a pig came in and scared this buck off. It was like right at last light, and so they get footage, and I'm looking at him like, oh man, that's the buck, and of course we just never named him. That's the buck I've been looking for. And that was it. That was the only daylight sightings we had, where Jamie saw him as a 5-year-old, and then I had seen him as a 4-year-old and rattled him up. So we come into the next season, and all summer long I got no pictures of him. I got nothing. He wasn't coming to, he just wasn't around. I had gotten Jamie out, and Jamie usually doesn't like to move around and run and gun and rattle. We'd done that. We'd rattled up some small bucks, nothing exciting. We weren't finding that big trophy buck that we were looking for. And here we come into dinner. We're cooking dinner, and I happened to look on my phone with the Tacticam Reveal app, and he's there, right there. And Jamie, I think, was kind of tired. I think he wanted to sleep in that next day. And I was like, man, we are getting up and we were going to go after this dude. And we get into the blind that morning, and it's foggy. It's a perfect South Texas morning. We see a few young bucks, we see some does, and it's just kind of, Jamie's getting nervous. He's like, oh, where is he? Where is he? And I look off to my left, and I just see him standing in the brush. And he sets off in a gallop towards the field, and I'm like, hey, there's a good buck. And I know who it is. I see, I see that wide rack, I see that big symmetrical. And I'm trying to not get Jamie too excited, and so I'm just like, you know, get the gun up, and I'm getting the camera on him and filming him. And I hear Jamie be like, you know, he's a shooter, and I just tried to as calmly say as I could, it's him. And he's like, what? And I said, it's him. And, you know, he got out, and Jamie, he wasn't gonna waste any time.
Damn. That worked out pretty good. Oh, man.
When I saw him, I knew it was him, and I was trying to not get you too excited because I knew I needed to get the camera going.
I'm about to pass out right now. Now I'm starting to hit.
I was like, and you're like, what is it? And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
dude, that's a good one.
Oh my gosh. I mean, this is incredible. The first cold morning in South Texas we've had. Oh. I mean, I don't even know. Beautiful deer.
So with it being a cool morning, and I had to go back anyway, which means I had to drive right through San Antonio to get back home. And it was such a pretty buck. I knew that he had broken off a point, which was a substantial, and you really want a good taxidermist, not just for the body and the caping and all that, but especially when you've got somebody that you're recreating a broken point. So I just told Jamie, I was like, look, let me just take this thing to Kristen, to Otea Taxidermy in San Antonio. I've known her for years. I've worked with her. That cool weather, you know, I wrapped him up in a tarp and stuck a bag of ice in his cavity and got him to Otea's as fast as I could.
Welcome to my shop. It is called Otea Taxidermy. My father started it over 45 years ago, and now my husband, Jared, and I took it over, and we do the meat processing and the taxidermy here.
The boss lady here, she's a slave driver, so it also helps knowing that you have to answer to someone and you don't want to answer to her. On one side of her profession is the modeling, the photos, people knowing her for modeling, and I know her for just a country girl that likes to hunt and fish. So it's kind of different. Thank God I'm not a jealous type, or else it would be a problem, but I kind of do my thing, she does her thing, and then we meet in the middle and we have a great time hunting and fishing together. But it's not like we have a lot of time together, because when we're here, but we're not really spending time together.
So my good friend Josh Kinzer called me during deer season and said that his good friend Jamie shot a really nice low fence whitetail, and they were going to bring it over to me so I could mount it. So that is what we're going to be doing today, is mounting his whitetail. So right now I'm getting the form leveled out so I can make sure the horns sit on there evenly. And Casey here, Casey here is going to get the skin and put it on the form here. And then we're going to put the plaster on. Okay, here we go. We're doing it. So he's gonna put the plaster on there, and then I'm gonna set these on that. And we're gonna screw them in there. Yeah, there was like a hard thing in there. I was like, I don't know what that is.
Which side?
We'll do it on this side. So the way it works is like I have like my husband, there's Jared, Joseph, Tim, Bubba, and Casey. Those are like my taxidermists. And then they'll put something together, like they'll put the hide on, stitch it up, they'll tuck the face, like, you know, make it tucked and whatnot. And then as soon as they're done with that and it's finished, I'll go back over there as soon as they're done, and then I'll make the ears where I want them, and I'll adjust the eyes, I'll just kind of reshape the face how I want it. So today we're going to be mounting the whitetail, so you'll get to see us prepping the form, setting the antlers, and putting the eyes and modeling the face with clay. And you'll get to see one of my taxidermists, Casey, and I, he's gonna stitch it up, and then I'm gonna be tucking the face and giving it the expression. So you'll get to see all that today. Hey Josh, hey Jamie, it's Kristen at OTS. I got your deer all finished up for you and it looks awesome. I also got that point recreation done for you as well and it looks great. I hope you like it and good luck on all your future hunts from everyone here at OTS.
And I know, you know, Jamie's seen the mount. He's extremely happy. You can't even tell that broken off point wasn't real. The mount looks fantastic. And so we really hoped more and more deer like this and even better deer than this to come, because if you followed along with the ranch through in the hunt, you see, you know, I like to talk about patience kills the buck, and patience is the most important thing in deer management. And sometimes patience is meaning that you have to wait a season or two. And so letting these deer sort of transform and letting the better bucks breed a little bit longer and getting out some of these less desirables, and sometimes that's just shooting more 8s and letting more 10s, to be real simple about it. And now as we kind of get through, we're at a place where it's really, really good. There's not as many 8s as there was before. And we're getting these better and better deer and just more and more nutrition. And just remember, yes, nutrition is a huge part. Yes, genetics is a huge part. Yes, age is a huge part. But none of that stuff really works. It's just like a stool. It's just like a tripod. If all three aren't there, then you're not reaching the maximum potential of your deer.